Good morning, friends. Today we are going to study a very interesting chapter, that is the company audit. Okay, this is law governing the audit and auditors. Okay, so the company audit consists goes from 138 to 148 plus 177. Okay, 10 10 sections from section number 138 to 148, exact 10 section and one addition, that is 177. Okay, so 138 is of internal auditor. Okay, so in internal auditor we have 3 points. First is applicability of internal auditor. When is internal audit applicable for you? Who can appoint the internal auditor and the responsibilities of internal auditor? Okay, very easy. 3 points. First one is applicability of internal auditor, who can appoint internal auditor, and third is responsibility of internal auditor. So let's check the applicability of internal auditor. So for whom internal audit is compulsory? So applicability of internal auditor, internal audit. Internal audit is applicable for all listed companies. So for all listed companies, here there is nothing directly. Whosoever is a listed company, for them internal audit is compulsory. And in case of uh, private limited company, sorry, after okay, in private limited company, if your turnover goes above 200 or it is 200, if your turnover is 200 or above and your outstanding loan is 100 crore plus or 100 crore, then even if you are private company, you need to do internal audit. Okay, and in case of unlisted public company, the threshold for turnover is same. Turnover should be 200 or above. Threshold for outstanding loan is also same, that is 100 crore or above. Here there are two more threshold, that is paid up capital of 50 crores and above, and outstanding deposit of 25 crore and above. Okay, here there are four points. First is paid up capital should be 50 crore, and paid up capital should be 50 crore and above. Outstanding deposit should be 25 crore and above. Paid up capital and outstanding deposits should done. And for turnover and outstanding loan, it is same. Threshold is same for private limited company and unlisted public company, that is turnover of 200 and outstanding loan of 100 crore. Okay, so number one is listed company, it is for all listed company. Number two for private limited company. For private limited company, if turnover is above 100 crore or 100 crore and outstanding loan is above 100 crore or is 100 crore. And for unlisted public company, turnover 200 crore or above, outstanding loan 100 crore or above, paid up capital 50 crore or above, and outstanding deposit 25 crore or above. Okay, so this is applicability of internal auditor. Okay, internal audit. So who can be appointed as internal auditor? A chartered accountant, whether he have certified of practice or not. Here certificate of practice is not compulsory, whether in but in case of statutory audit, in statutory audit certified of practice is required. So in case of internal audit, certificate of practice is not required. So number one, who can be internal auditor? our profession, that is chartered accountant. Second is cost accountant. Third, other professionals. Or fourth, he may be employed by the company or not be employed by the company. Whereas in case of statutory auditor cannot be the employee of the company. He should be independent. Okay. So in case of internal audit, he can be employee or he may not be the employee of the company. Any professional can do this, having this required knowledge. Cost accountant or chartered accountant, with or without certificate of practice. So this is who can be an internal auditor. And what are the responsibility of internal auditor? To maintain advocate system of internal control. Internal control should be advocate, examine the accounting procedure, where accounting procedure is going correctly. He need to examine that and safeguard interest to misappropriate asset. Internal auditor is appointed by the company, by the members, by the board, so they can check whether their asset are not misappropriated. So internal auditor act as a safeguard against misappropriation of assets. He examines the accounting system and maintain advocate internal controls. Okay. So further we might come. Here further, I have used some shortcut. DOR for date of registration. EGM, it is extraordinary general meeting. And CAG is comptroller of audit general. Okay, this is in case of government company. Okay, so let's move inside the company audit. First, some preliminary things. For this chapter, there are two type of company: government company and any other company. We divide company, for this chapter specifically, we divide companies into two parts: government company and any other company. Okay. And there are four type of auditor. Internal auditor, which we discussed now, it is under section 138 of first section, section 138. Then first auditor and subsequent auditor, which we will learn in few minutes. And then it is then retiring auditor. Okay. Parties involved in appointment of auditor: who appoints the auditor? Audit committee appoints the auditor if applicable. Its applicability is there in section 177. Okay. Management, that is board of directors, shareholders, and comptroller of audit general. Okay. Comptroller of audit general in case of government company. Okay. So these four parties are involved in appointment of auditor. Okay. Actually, audit committee comes only when if there is applicable. And CAG comes only if there is government company. Okay. So let's move ahead to our next section, that is section 139. So section 139 have 10 subsections, and section 139 have 10 subsection. From section 139 has 10 subsection. Here we are not going to study subsection 3 and 4. Okay. 3 and 4 we are not going to study. Okay. So first let's study 1. Then okay. So 1, 5, 6, 7, 8 is related to the appointment of auditor, and 2 is related to the rotation of the auditor. Okay. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Here 3 and 4 is not there in our subject. 2 is for 2 is for rotation of the auditor, rotation, and this remaining 4 is there for appointment. Okay, so appointment of auditor, we said that we divide auditor into two parts: subsequent auditor and first auditor. Okay, so in first we will study about subsequent auditor. uh, in section 139(1), it says about appointment of subsequent auditor in case of any other company, and section 139(5) says about appointment of subsequent auditor in case of government company. Okay, so in case of appointment, there are three we need to deal with three type of question. First, something happened. First question is who and when will auditor be appointed? Who will appoint the auditor and when will auditor be appointed? If they fail to appoint, what will happen? And till what time they need to hold office. Okay, in section 139, 1, 5, 6, 7, we need to deal with these three questions: who and when will the auditor be appointed, who will appoint the auditor and when will the auditor be appointed. Second, if they fail to appoint the auditor, and last is till what time they will hold the office. So in case of subsequent auditor, for subsequent auditor we divide for subsequent auditor we divide our case in two parts. First one is for any other company and second is for government company, and same for first auditor, one section 139(6) for any other company and 139(7) for government company. Okay, everything is divided into two halves: go any other company and government company. So that's why I said that there are two types of company in this chapter: government company and any other company. Okay, so section 139 1 says about subsequent 1 and 5. 1 and 5 says about subsequent auditor, and 6 and 7 talks about first auditor. So section 139 1 is for any other company that is not government company. So here we need to deal with three questions. First one is who and when will the auditor be appointed. So this is section 139, section 139(1). Who will appoint the auditor? Members will appoint the auditor. And when will the auditor be appointed? At the first AGM. Okay, then third point is held office till for subsequent auditor should held office till conclusion of from conclusion of first AGM to the conclusion of sixth AGM, that is for 5 year, from conclusion of first AGM to the conclusion of sixth AGM. Okay, and in second point there are procedures. It says about rule 3. So for section 139(1), there is no point such as if they fail. Here there is rule number in point 2, there is rule number 3. Okay, so let's study for section 139. Section 139(1) talks about three things. First, who will appoint the auditor? Members will appoint the auditor. When will the auditor be appointed? At the first AGM. Till what time auditor should hold the office? Till the conclusion of sixth AGM, that is from conclusion of first AGM to the conclusion of the sixth AGM. Now let's study rule number 3. Okay, rule number 3. So rule number 3 speaks about manner and procedure of selection and appointment of auditor. Okay, rule number 3 speaks about manner and procedure of selection and appointment of auditor. Manner and procedure of selection and manner and procedure of appointment. Okay, for selection, before recommending, board of directors or audit committee should consider auditors qualification qualification experience. So before recommending, board of director or audit committee should consider this 4 points. First one is qualification of the auditor, whether is he a chartered accountant with certificate of practice. Second one is his experience, does he have experience in this industry. Third, we need to check, is there any proceeding of professional misconduct passed against him. Proceeding of professional misconduct passed against him, or any proceeding of professional misconduct is pending against him, whether it be pending or let it be passed. We need to check whether any order of professional misconduct is pending or passed against him. So rule number 3 says about manner and procedure for selection and appointment of the auditor. For selection, we need to board of director and audit committee, before recommending, they should check four things. First one is qualification, second is experience, third is any proceeding passed against him, or any pending proceeding of professional misconduct is pending against him. So we before recommending, board of director and audit committee, if applicable, should consider these 4 points. Then in case of company where audit committee is not applicable, in case of company where audit committee is not applicable, board of director shall recommend name of the individual or firm as director to the member, and member shall appoint the auditor in AGM. Okay, so where audit committee is not applicable, board of director shall recommend the name of the individual or firm as a auditor to the member in the AGM, and members shall appoint the auditor in the AGM. And where in the case where audit committee is applicable, audit committee shall recommend the name of where audit committee is not applicable, board of directors will recommend the name. And where audit committee is applicable, audit committee will recommend the name of firm or individual as auditor. Audit committee will recommend the name to board of directors, and board of directors can agree with the recommendation or can disagree with the recommendation. If they agree with the recommendation, they will further recommend the name of individual or firm as auditor to the member, and member shall appoint the auditor in the AGM. But if they disagree with the recommendation of the audit committee, they will refer back their recommendation to audit committee to for reconsideration. If board of director disagree, they will refer back to audit committee to reconsider with the reason for disagreement. Board of director will give the reason of disagreement, and they will say you should reconsider the person. So okay, and after that, if audit committee decided not to reconsider, audit committee से no एक बार बोल दिया तो सब बोल दिया. If they decided not to reconsider, board of director में से ठीक है भाई ये सुन रहा, नहीं तो चला लेते काम. And when board of director में also say नहीं मैं ही सही. Okay, if auditor says that एक बार बोल दिया तो बोल दिया, board of director can agree or board of director can disagree. If board of director agrees, then board of director will further recommend the name of individual or firm as auditor to the member, and member will appoint the auditor in the AGM. But if board of director disagree, board of director will they do man marzi. Board of director will send their own recommendation to the members with plus plus the reason of disagreement with audit committee to the member in AGM, and member shall appoint the auditor. Okay, here there is fighting in case of audit committee will recommend, then board of director may say yes or no. If board of directors say no, they will refer back to the audit committee, and audit committee may reconsider it or may not reconsider it. If they not reconsider it, board of director may agree or not agree. Okay, first layer, board of director give the recommendation. Second layer, first layer, audit committee give the recommendation. Second layer, board of director agree or disagree. If agree, smooth process. If disagree, board of director refer back to the audit committee. Audit committee may consider the recommendation or not reconsider. If it not reconsider, board of director may agree or not disagree. If board of director agree, they will send the recommendation of the name of individual or firm as a auditor to the members, and members shall appoint the auditor in the AGM. And if more board of members disagree, they will send their own recommendation, not the audit committee's recommendation. They will send their own recommendation to the members along with the reason of disagreement with the audit committee. Okay, so in section 139(1), so section 139 is for appointment of auditor, and section 139(1) and 5 is for appointment of subsequent auditor, and section 6 and 7 is for appointment of first auditor, and section 1 is for appointment of auditor in any other company. Here members will appoint auditor in the first AGM as per rule number 3, as per rule 3, as per procedure mentioned in rule 3, and auditor shall hold the office till the conclusion of the 6th AGM. Okay, and in case of, so this was in case subsequent auditor, in case of any other company, members will appoint the auditor in first AGM as per rule number 3, and he shall hold office from first AGM till the conclusion of the 6th AGM. Here first AGM means the first AGM of the auditor. It is auditor's point of view, not the company's first AGM. It is first AGM of the auditor. Okay, and in case of government company, CAG will appoint auditor. First point is related to who will appoint and when will appoint the auditor. So CAG will appoint the auditor within the 180 days of commencement of the year. Okay, see, in case of government company, CAG will appoint within 180 days of commencement. Okay, CAG within 180 days of commencement, and he shall hold the office till the conclusion of the AGM. He shall hold the office till the conclusion of AGM. So we are done with section 139(1) and section 139(5). Okay, here members, here CAG, here at first AGM, here at 180 days of commencement. He will hold office till 6th AGM, and he will conclusion of the AGM. Now let's look at first auditor. Section 139 6 and 7 talk about the appointment of auditor, appointment of first auditor. Section 139 6 talks about appointment of first auditor in any other company. Here, board of directors, first auditor in any other companies. Here, board of directors will appoint the auditor within 30 days from date of registration. So first we will register the company. Okay. This is date of registration. This is date of registration. Just a second. This is our timeline. Here is date of registration of company. Okay. So within 30 days, 30 days, right? Within 30 days we will appoint first auditor. He what he when till what time he will hold the office? He will hold the office till the conclusion of the AGM. After year get completed, he will here will be the first AGM of the company. This is AGM. Here till this time he need to hold the office. This auditor will hold office till here, and then after that subsequent auditor will be appointed. Subsequent auditor at the first AGM, subsequent auditor will be appointed, and he shall hold office till the conclusion of 6th AGM. Okay. So so in case of subsequent auditor, members appoint the board members appoint the auditor. But in case of first auditor, board of director appoints the first auditor. Okay, what is the difference between subsequent auditor and appointment of first auditor? Here board of director will appoint, here member will appoint. For here when will they appoint? When we need to answer who and when. For the first point, who is board of director, and when 30 days from registration of company. Okay, then second point, if they fail, members will appoint within next 90 days in EGM is extraordinary general meeting. Okay, if they fail, members will appoint within 90 days in EGM. Okay, and he shall hold office till the conclusion of the first AGM. He shall hold office till the conclusion of the first AGM. Okay, so this is section 139(6) related to any other companies. In case of government company, that is mentioned in section 139(7), government company, who will appoint? In case of government company, it is always CAG. CAG will appoint. When will he appoint? He will appoint within 60 days of registration of the company. Okay. Second point is, if he fail, board of directors will appoint within next 30 days. But what if board of directors also fail to appoint within next 30 days? Then members will appoint within next 60 days. Okay, and both of them shall hold the office till the conclusion of the first AGM. Okay, so in section 139 1, 5, 6 and 7 we need to answer 3 questions. Who will appoint, when will appoint, if he fails, and hold office till what time he should hold the office. So in section 139(1), is related to any other company, who will appoint. In case of subsequent auditor, members will appoint the auditor, and when at first AGM. Okay. And he shall hold office till the conclusion of the sixth AGM. In case of next is section 139(5), that is for government company. Here, if there is government company, then CAG will appoint the auditor. Who will appoint? CAG. When will they appoint? Within 180 days of commencement. Within 180 days of commencement. And till what time he shall hold the office? Till the conclusion of the AGM. In case of government company, always it is till the conclusion of the AGM, here also and here also. But in case of any other company, in subsequent auditor shall hold office till sixth conclusion of sixth AGM, and in case of first auditor, he should hold office till conclusion of the first AGM. Okay, first auditor will remain till the conclusion of first AGM only. Then after that, subsequent auditor will come. Subsequent auditor can hold office till conclusion of sixth AGM. Okay. Let's move ahead to section 139(6). 130 in case of 139(6) is for any other company. Here rule is 30-90. 180, 30 plus 90. What is 30 plus 90? It is 120. And here is 60 plus 60, 120 plus 30, 150. So this is 180. This is 30 plus 90, that is 120, and this is 150. Bullshit. So board of directors will appoint. When will they appoint? Within 30 days of registration of the company. And if board of directors fail, then members will appoint within 90 days in EGM, and he shall hold office till the conclusion of the first AGM. In case in section 139(7), in section 139(7), it talks about government company. Here CAG will appoint within 60 days of registration of the company. If CAG fails to appoint, board of director will appoint within next 30 days. And if board of directors fails, members will appoint within next 60 days, and he shall hold office till the conclusion of the first AGM. Okay. Parties involved in appointment of the auditor. Board of director have priority in case of first auditor, and member have priority in case of subsequent auditor, and CAG will always have priority in government company. Okay. So for subsequent auditor, members will appoint. For first auditor, board of directors will appoint. In government company, both CAG will appoint. Okay. Here in case of subsequent auditor, in any other company, auditor shall hold office till 6th AGM, conclusion of 6th AGM. And in case of first auditor, he should hold office till the conclusion of the first AGM. Okay. So this is all about appointment of auditor. Section 139, section 139(1), section 139(5), section 139(6), and section 139(7). Only you need to remember is 3 questions: who will appoint, when will appoint, if they fail, until what time he should hold the office. Okay. Now let's see what is casual vacancy. So the meaning of casual vacancy is that if auditor cease to act as such when after accepting valid appointment. If auditor ceases to act as an auditor, this happens in case of death of the auditor, or resignation, disqualification, or dissolution of auditor's firm. Ceases means stopped to act as an auditor, means in the middle, after appointment, after valid appointment of the auditor, in middle only he ceased to act as an auditor. This is known as casual vacancy. Then a casual vacancy happens. So when auditor ceases to act as such after appointment, after valid appointment, when will this happen? After appointment of the auditor, he dies, or he give resignation, or disqualification of the auditor, or dissolution, he auditors form dissolved. In these cases, casual vacancy appears. And if auditor is not appointed and there is vacancy, this kind of vacancy is not called as casual vacancy. Okay, when auditor is appointed and after and he is not able to hold the office till the end of his tenure, then it is called as casual vacancy. Okay, so in case of other company, if casual vacancy happens, uh, such shall be filled by within the 30 days. So casual vacancy should be filled within 30 days by the board of directors. Who 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 will fill the vacancy? Board of directors. When within 30 days of casual vacancy. Second, if casual vacancy happens due to resignation of the auditor, when, when casual vacancy happens due to the resignation of the auditor, then such appointment shall be approved at the general meeting within 3 months of recommendation of the board. If casual vacancy happened um, due to resignation of the auditor, then it shall be approved in the general meeting within 3 months of the recommendation of the board, and such auditor shall hold the office till the conclusion of the AGM. Okay, in case of government company, CAG will appoint the auditor within the 30 days, and if they fail, board of directors will appoint the auditor within 30 days, and he should hold office till conclusion of the AGM. Okay, so in case of casual vacancy, only there is only single number, that is 30. Okay, casual vacancy is section 139(8). In case of other company, board of directors will fill the office within 30 days. Okay, and if casual vacancy happen due to the resignation, then such appointment shall be approved at the AGM within 3 months. Okay, and in case of government company, CAG will fill the office within 30 days. Here also 30, here also 30. And if CAG fails to appoint, then board of director will appoint within next 30 days. Okay, so here only single figure is there, that is 30, 30, 30. So no confusion. Here in for subsequent auditor, CAG will take 180 days for commencement, and here government will have like this figure 60, 30, 60, and for any other company 30, 90. Okay, that's it for today.